All right, Chapter 8, the nervous system. In this chapter, we're going to talk about the organization of the nervous system, specifically then break it down into the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system, and then we'll talk about disorders of the nervous system. Starting off with the organization of the nervous system, does anybody remember what the two major divisions of the nervous system are? That would be the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is what and responsible for what? The central nervous system consists of the brain and the spinal cord. It is ultimately going to be responsible for incoming information and coordinating all of the voluntary and involuntary nervous functions. The peripheral nervous system is going to be responsible for getting the information and carrying out orders. So the peripheral nervous system is going to consist of the ganglia and the nerves that branch out from the central nervous system. It helps keep the central nervous system in contact with the rest of the body. So the central nervous system is basically the decision maker. The peripheral nervous system is the one who's going to be obtaining information and following out orders. We can break down the peripheral nervous system even further. The peripheral nervous system can be broken down even further based on the functions of the different parts of the nervous system. So now we're not differentiating based on structure, but function. The somatic nervous system is going to be responsible for all of our voluntary movements, and thus it controls what kind of muscles. If we're controlling voluntary movements, what kind of muscles are we controlling? Our autonomic nervous system is going to regulate involuntary activities. Give me an example of what types of muscle control is going to be regulated by our autonomic nervous system. It's ultimately going to be responsible for regulating involuntary activities like heart rate, breathing rate, digestive system movements. But the automatic nervous system can be divided even further into the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for emergency situations, or what's known as our fight or flight response, and then our parasympathetic nervous system, which is going to be responsible for our rest and digest, is in control during more restful times. You can think of this as the rest and digest stage. So here's a diagram that kind of breaks all of that down. We have our central nervous system and our peripheral nervous system. Our information has to go from our peripheral nervous system to our central nervous system and then back out again. On one side, we have sensory input coming in, and we have motor output going out. So spend a little bit of time with this diagram, review it. It'll help kind of clarify and explain all of the terminology that we just went through.